Hey, Faye
Ding, ding, ding.
and
Hello,
Darlene.
hello,
Hi,
everybody.
Melissa. Hey, hey. My view on so I can see everybody. There we go.
Hello,
Oh, yeah.
hello.
Sorry, we're a little late. Hey, June. Got all the. Hey, Gail. All the regular hangers.
That's it. It's good to see you, Faye, back there. Faye, Fishman, Carla, Gail. I love it. Remember, if you put your face and you put your real name, then we speak to you. If you don't put a face, we figure you're doing the wash, so we're not saying hello. That's how that goes. But it's good to see everybody. Oh, no, and Carla, owe you some Christmas suggestions, I think. So I'll do that. I'll put that on my list.
Thank
It is
you.
a
Yeah,
beautiful day
I'm
here
gonna
in New
probably,
Jersey, you guys. So I hope it is nice where everybody is. We're sunny and about
Mhm.
close to 80s here.
Close to 80. Oh, it's not that warm down here, and it's
Yeah, I love it.
supposed to be warmer. I'm in the south. So, everybody, obviously we're partial because we invite these people, but you're in for a real treat today. I'm sure most of you are familiar with Janet, in one way or another for sure. But it's going to be a really wonderful program. I think that Robin and I, when we were talking to Janet and trying to figure out what would be relevant for the hang and what would be a good timing thing. We really thought that talking about giving a program would be really appropriate now. Yeah, Darlene, not just because Christmas coming up. That's sort of the point. Hi, Lisa. Also, I think sometimes we all hesitate to do a little program, even for our friends or at church because we feel like, oh, I'm not ready. My music isn't advanced enough. Hey, Ann, I see Ann. I haven't seen you in a long time. Hi, Ann. Um, and that's just really not I don't think that doesn't have to stop you because the harp is an instrument that is enjoyed by so many people. There are very few people that come out of a harp concert unhappy. And it doesn't matter, I think, as long as you're prepared and making music. I think that anybody can put together a little concert, whether it's for your friends or your, place of worship or a local club. It's really a wonderful gift to share. And I know I'm guilty of this. I don't always look at it that way. I'm always like, oh, I mean, something inside my head says, I don't like to say this out loud, but I have to prove that I can play. And that's not what it's about. I think,
No, no, and I think one of the things I hope you're going to get out today is even if you're going somewhere for a prelude or for something, is to just think it through. Plan it out. Think of where you're going. Think of all sorts of contingencies. I don't know about anyone here, but I've started many programs. If I don't feel like the room is with me, I will change what I'm doing. And you need to just have some of those things. Be ready to change to the crowd. Be ready to change to the request, even without being a person that does request, you could still have a variety ready for you so that if somebody says they like, oh, I like a little faster, you said, well, I don't have that song you just asked, but I can play this. And just to be ready. And the bottom line, MJ and I were talking about with all of this, you're going to hear lots of ideas from Janet. But the bottom line for us is make sure you're practicing. Let's practice. Part of that being prepared is not just having a bunch of songs that you're going to take with you and pretend at. No, make sure you do the work so that you're always ready, that you've got that foundation. Nobody else can do that part for you. We can tell you the different suggestions of where, what, but if you are not practicing, I promise you, it never gets better live. It's
but I
never going
think
to get better.
also, and I know this is something that that is talked about a lot. I know we have a lot of heart mastery people here about practicing performing, not just practicing in your own house, in your own corner. If that means setting somebody there to go through the program, practicing going all the way through. I have to tell you, when Robin said you just have to be prepared to switch. I'm out there. I think, yeah, Robin can do that. She can play anything at the drop. I'm paper trained, completely paper trained. So I just want to say, if you have a lovely program plan,
Full disclaimer, when I say that, trust and believe, I mean, I've got my iPad there where I can pull up any music, I can do anything. And look at here, we've got Miss Mindy in the house. Hello, Mindy. You'll be hearing a little bit about her with MJ. But we're glad to see you, Mindy. And the thing is, so when she says Robin can do that, I'm not a Jan Jennings, throw 5 songs at me and I'm playing it. No, but I'm real fast. I'm pulling up something out of my iPad and I can pull it up, I can buy it and play it. So yes, I can read it and play it right away, but no, not as much as she's saying, not all of that other stuff. But I just think we should start thinking about not putting our audience to sleep. We really need to stop with the full hour of just slow airs. Okay, I said it out loud. That's it. To you, MJ. Just, let's have a little variety.
And I think a half an hour program, if you can get something together, is plenty for a lot of places. I'm just going to be completely honest here. I tend to start with something I am so comfortable with. And I had a student who was giving their first recital. And okay, I'm sure there are some people here. What is my favorite song? Does anybody know? Do you know, Robin? To
Oh
to
my,
te
I'd be saying Little Fountain, and I know I'm wrong. I don't know
No,
what you're
no, Little
saying.
Fountain's way too hard. But I had her, hi Anna. I had her
Moonlight,
start. What did you say, Gail? I think
Moonlight,
Moonlight. That's it.
Moonlight. If
You
it's
can
not
take
Little Fountain, it's Moonlight.
and but those kind of pieces, even starting, she said, "Oh, that was one of my beginner pieces." It doesn't matter, and there's a lot you can do. Anybody who knows Moonlight, it's the first piece in Linda Wood and Suzanne McDonald's Volume One, and even something like that can relax you and relax your audience. It's a very enjoyable piece. So yeah, so don't let where you are in terms of your progression necessarily stop you from playing for other people and getting a little program together. So,
Even and really quick, because we've got to get this introduction. I was playing a wedding and I'm very much the kiss gliss girl. So I will gliss at the end of a this. I'll gliss at the end of that because I know that's what they think the harp is. And it's beautiful at a wedding, right? But I will always gliss in the right key. I'm always moving those pedals, I'm getting in the
we're
right
hoping
key.
I'm there.
And the violinist looked at me and when I did it just in a straight key, I'm like, but if we do that song, I have to. And she was like, that sounded magical. And I was like, okay. I'm going to go with the crowd here. It's magical. So let's just do it. MJ, you better introduce our girl.
And as my one of my favorite, when all else fails, Gliss. That's my motto. So I met Janet many summers ago at the Salcedo Harp Colony in Maine. And what I remember the most was this performance she gave. She's this little powerhouse. She was studying at Curtis, which is one of the most esteemed music schools in the country. And she was playing Traipsing Through Arkansas, which is this ridiculously hard Salcedo piece. And when we practiced up there, we practiced a lot and we all had blisters and she had a couple blisters pop and her fingers were bleeding and she finished the piece. So that tells you a little bit about her chutzpah for sure. And what's also amazing about Janet is she's recognized as an esteemed player in both the classical and later after her uh, stint at Curtis, she did get into Celtic music and she's recognized as an outstanding performer in both those fields, which I always just find amazing. Many of you are familiar with her numerous ensembles for harp arrangement, and you definitely want to check out her wonderful Christmas ensembles, especially one where she combines the Pachelbel and First Noel. I love that. Yeah, never get tired of that. But I think you can get a real glimpse of her personality. The picture that is on the hanging with the harp, Constant Contact, that is not just a picture she had. She loved our logo and she took that picture. So it tells you just what a wonderfully fun person she is. And we're very excited to have her. So Janet, I see her block there, but I do not see her yet. Without further ado,
Here I am.
Janet Whitman. We're going to welcome Janet. And oh, by the
Fun.
way, Janet, just one thing. If you didn't get the PDF, we got it out a little bit late. It was out this afternoon, but you can get it in the chat. It will be posted in the chat.
Oh, that's
Oh,
great.
Janet, I'm
Great.
so sorry. I'm just going to mention too that currently Robin mentioned that Mindy Kutcher is here, and she is part of a duo that Janet plays. Yeah, principally harp, and she also has this wonderful group, I guess you would call it, duo called Astral Harp with her husband Kevin, who is passionate about astronomy. And I'm going to let her just tell you a little bit of that before she starts because it's just amazing, I think. All right,
Well,
Janet,
thank you.
you're on.
Thank you, Robin and MJ. Thank you for having me this afternoon, and thank you for coming out and visiting me in my studio. I kind of dressed it up a little bit and pushed the stuff that is a little messy off to the side. So now it looks pretty good, I hope. Yes, I do a concert harp duo with Mindy Kutcher of the Philadelphia Ballet Orchestra. She's been there for over 25 years. And we knew each other from the American Harp Society Philadelphia chapter. We were both past presidents. And about 10 years ago, we decided let's do some music. And we love arranging our own pieces. They can be classical or pop tunes. So we're on YouTube if you want to check us out. My husband Kevin is an astronomer by love, and he takes great astrophotography pictures. There's a comet you can see right now in the sky, and he's going bonkers taking pictures of that, plus the auroras that we saw earlier this week as well. So lots of activity. And we will be presenting our Astral Harp show at the Washington Area Folk Harp Society on November 1st, the day after Halloween. So I think registration is full, but we do like to present our programs when invited. Um, Today is sort of a preview of a concert that I'm doing next Thursday at the First and Central Presbyterian Church in Wilmington, Delaware. It's only a 35-minute program, so it's just like Mary MJ said. That's a good length. You don't want to get too long in the middle of the day. It's a professional concert. They have a series, and I was just going to talk to you about how I prepared and what to watch out for, how to select your music, how to make a nice set list. I call it a fixed menu. And then I'll play you some excerpts of each of these pieces. So you get to hear my harp. By the way, my harp came from MJ, the Virginia Harp Center. Exactly 25 years this month. And it's a beautiful Trianon Kamak. And I love it dearly. Got new strings on it, got it regulated, it really pops. I hope I can do it justice this afternoon. So the PDF, I'll just briefly hit some highlights, and then we'll go into my set list. And also, MJ, Robin, if you want to interject, I'll sort of, try to do that smoothly. It's difficult when I'm not used to Zoom. So some of the ins and outs of presenting a concert. When you first get a call and they say, play a 30-minute concert, and you have to confirm the date, the time frame, access to parking and unloading the harp, of course. Now, the most important thing is the type of audience, who might be there. That will determine your set list. If you're preparing a university concert, you're going to play some pretty highbrow music. Some Tournier, Salcedo, and that's pretty much for university faculty people. But this is an afternoon lunchtime concert. So I'm going to probably get retirees, people that will be on their lunch break. And they don't have a lot of time to hear me chat. They want to hear me play. And of course, some family and friends hopefully will be there. It's in the city, so parking is always a challenge. So, it's always good when people do that effort to hear you play, and you want to put forth your best effort to give them a really good, interesting, fun program. So the first thing you do is you think about, what music should I play? You've been asked to play, you have the fee down, you're excited. It should be about 3 months ahead at least to get your set list going, and to do that you would like to explore what's already in your personal library. Take a deep dive into your piles of music. Pull out things that you love to play, that you've played well in the past. That's a good start. So pull out a few of those pieces. Then you want to think about, what new piece would I like to learn? What's in my pile that I haven't learned yet? And I better learn it quickly because I don't have a whole lot of time, but I'm eager to learn it. And it doesn't have to be terribly hard. Like MJ said, do it at your comfort zone and at your level. I have 3 new pieces that I'm playing in this program. I'm being adventurous, that I've never played before, and 2 new arrangements that I'm going to pull out. I just have them in manuscript right now because I wanted, and I edited it to make it a little bit shorter, so we have get through the highlights of each piece for today's podcast. You also want to see what YouTube videos have to offer. Lots of wonderful in fact, I got my first piece, the Hittite Suite, on YouTube, and Harp Column sold the music. So that was in my pile of wannabe pieces to learn. So YouTube videos are a great thing, and also past concerts of harpists and other players that you've heard in the past. My Pavane for a Dead Princess was something that I got to play with the Tennant Symphony for their chamber orchestra concert. And of course the piece is beautiful, and the harp gets to play some colorful arpeggios and the bass ostinato, but the melody is something we don't get to do. The horn gets to do it. So I took a piano version and I edited it for harp solo. So that was another choice that I did. Okay, so how many pieces should I perform in a 30-35 minute program? Of course that matters on the amount of time of each piece. I usually choose shorter pieces so I can get more in. If you did a 3-piece sonata or a long piece, you might just get 3 pieces, and it might be of the same genre. Here I've gotten 7 pieces that are uniquely different, and that was really fun for me. Another thing you might want to consider is the program to be printed. I call it a fixed menu. And if that's the situation, on my PDF I have my concert order there. Make sure that when you do that, that you include your titles, the composers' names, and their full dates. The arrangers, and as transcribers, you can use their first initials with their last name. Now, if you just are going to announce your pieces, be sure to know how to correctly pronounce the title and the composer's name. An example of that is my first piece, the Hittite Suite by a Turkish composer, harpist. He's on YouTube. And what a name. It's a very unusual name, and I had to look up to see if I could pronounce it, to learn how to pronounce it. And it's Jati Akyol. Who would know, you know? So you need to do a little research to find, to see how to pronounce people's and names of the composers. Also, offer up some fun facts and backstories. For instance, Eric Satie is quite a character, so I have some interesting fun facts about him. Best to jot these things down because you're more preoccupied in getting into your music than you want to talk. And of course the rule KISS, K-I-S-S, which means keep it short, stupid, or silly. I like the silly better. Keep it short, silly. So you don't want to go on too long because they want to hear you play. All right, so the order of music. Selecting the first and second pieces are the most challenging as you set up a short program. You don't want to come out with a slow minor piece. It's obvious. If people have been sitting there long enough, they want to hear something to get the show going. So you want to select a piece that pulls people in, Maybe the title sounds intriguing. The Hittite Suite certainly sounds intriguing. An upbeat tempo, maybe some dynamics, and also more major sounding than minor, and not too long. And make sure you know this work inside and out, because your nerves will take a toll on the first time. I tend to go fast when I'm nervous, so work with your metronome to keep it going and not taking it off to the races. The second piece should complement the first, not too different, but not too much alike. It could be the same genre, in other words, written about the same time. It could be colorful, dynamics, tempi. When Mindy and I, we start off with a Carolyn's tune, and then we go into something a little more French, the second movement when we do our concerts, the second pieces. So we start off fast and then something very beautiful that pulls people in. When you present your concert, when you first come out, you take a bow of the harp and then you smile at your audience and then you play. There's no need to talk about your piece right away. They have been waiting for you to play, so get down to business. Don't make your audience wait through another introduction. The rest of the program, keep it moving. You can add segues between pieces, short breaks with stories, backstories about the composers, the piece. Of course, add a familiar piece to the mix. As Robin says, something that they can connect to. Again, show a contrast of genres, tempi, styles of music. It's your show, but you think about what the audience wants to hear. In fact, I forgot to mention, when you're exploring or brainstorming your music, you might want to ask yourself, if I were attending this concert, what would I like to hear? That also gives you a good lead into maybe selecting pieces that you would like to hear another harpist play. There's no need to stand up and bow after every piece. It takes too much time and it's not necessary. So it's fine to simply nod at the harp while and smile and while you're seated. Of course, longer works, larger works demand a bow, and a standing bow, of course. The ending piece could either end two ways. It could end with a big bang or a fond farewell, something sentimental. Mindy and I finish with a big piece. It could be the rumba, it could be something really, really big. And then we do an encore, something more, either something they know or something beautiful and warm to send them home with a sweet little morsel of music. It is best to end with an appealing upbeat work the audience wants to, and you want to make sure that you don't play too long. You want them wanting more. So that's my little spiel about the way I prepare a concert. Is there any questions before I introduce some of my excerpts of my program?
Okay, we are checking. And while we are checking, I want to still also remind everybody to make sure to go to Brandywine, to Janet's place. She doesn't say it, but she arranges and publishes such a varied amount of music. MJ alluded to it when she said one of the things we love about Janet is the fact that she is known so well in so many genres. She goes right from the classical to the Celtic world without a blink. And what I love with her music is you can get some of those classical tunes that you really, the Laudate the Mozart's piece. I was like, oh, I want to play that. And it's so beautifully written. You can download it on your PDF, and it's so beautifully written. And on her website, she has a lot of that. She has a lot of Ave Maria. She has a lot of spiritual music. And then she has some song, and I was looking for it so I could tell it you correctly, besides Moon Death. And I think it's something like, I went to a party with my harp or something. You could tell them about that. But really and truly, she's a great source for all of these things. And now we get to hear her. I see no questions.
Well, thank you, Robin, for that. Yes,
I,
during
I'd
COVID, Go ahead, MJ, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask a question. So when you're doing a performance, and I know you're a seasoned performer now, so maybe I'm asking you a little bit more as a teacher. How many times do you suggest your you or your students perform, like do their performance, whether it's at home or, I mean, how do you get them ready from practice room to stage? What are some of your suggestions for that?
Well, my younger students, I had them do a YouTube video or a video for their parents and family. If I ask them to play a piece at home, like, well, you're having family over, then play a piece. And I really don't know if they're really doing it. So they come to my studio and I record them. And they can memorize it or not, but it needs to be well done. And then they have a feeling of accomplishments. It's really hard to pull students together for a group recital. I used to do that, but I don't do that anymore because kids today are so busy. And then you plan a date, and then, oops, I can't do it. I got a soccer game or something like that. So also, I have a group that we get together, and I teach a new piece, and we each play a piece that we know very well in a circle. So it's a heart gathering circle of my students and friends. Actually, a lot of my students are some of my dearest friends. But yeah, they need to have the piece polished and be real confident. And when I put them on video like I am today with YouTube, it's really shows it all. It shows how you're playing, how you're presenting yourself. There's no hiding with these YouTube videos, especially live. But my students, we pick out the best one of our recordings. So that's how I address that.
I think it's a great idea to do a video because even when I'm doing one just to send to a student, I find myself much more focused and just kind of in the zone as opposed to, yeah, so that's a
Yeah.
wonderful idea. Do you ever encourage, or I know you yourself, you play with, you do a whole thing with your husband, Kevin, and you play performing harps with Mindy, but do you encourage your students maybe if they're giving a recital to put something chamber on there? I know, I always think it's great to maybe just have that one piece if you have a friend that wants to play with you, and that kind of breaks it up and gives you a little bit of a break.
I Yeah, I used to do some flute and harp, but I'm sort of more just into the harp now as far as getting my students to play. More like doing harp duets. Pretty much harp duets. The chamber music I don't do a whole lot of. Usually they ask me if their school orchestra or chorus. A lot of chorus directors want them to play something. In fact, one of my former students wanted their music director wanted her to play This Little Babe, and she hasn't played probably in 30 years. So I had to really okay, this is going to be a huge task. Let's just meet and discuss it. And then she said, well, maybe the music director might want guitar to play it. And I go, oh. I don't think music directors often know how hard the harp is. They just think, like This Little Babe from the Ceremony of Carols, it's very, very guitar-like, but I like to see a guitarist pull that off. It's not meant. So that's a very challenging piece. But usually my students come to me and they say, oh, the orchestra leader wants me to play this, and I edit the part because it's often a piano part. Middle school, it's often a violin part. So that's all part of it. But I do encourage them to play out as much as possible, but they have to be prepared. They just have to be prepared.
So before
'cause
you
I
play,
want
I
it to be a
just
good experience for them. I don't want them to feel bad.
Well, Janet is giving us little snippets of this wonderful concert. If you have any questions, there's so much information on the PDF. She talked through most of it, but there's so much information there, really good information. And if you have any questions and you want to type them in the chat while she's playing, that would be great. We might have a few minutes on the other end. But yeah, thank you, Janet. I just think the PDF it's just so well laid out and very understandable and
Thank
very
you.
step by step. So yeah, so thank you. So yeah, let's hear
No,
some of this.
it's good. And with all the music, I want you guys to remember what she said. She talked about pulling out music. She talked about looking at different videos of people playing when she's preparing or deciding to do a concert. And I'm gonna also add my one thing because it's what I suffer from the most. I suffer from I really want to play this piece. And for me, this piece is never quite ready. And so also look at your wants and then step back 2 steps and remember that you're better off presenting what you know forwards and backwards than that piece that you just really wanted to play so badly that isn't quite ready.
And one more thing, I'm sorry, because I know, but I want everybody to remember as well. Sometimes there's a piece I want to play like Pavane for a Dead Princess, and you have this arrangement of it that's just boggling your mind. Look for other arrangements. There are a lot of arrangements, and as Janet said, the melody is what's important. Angie Bemis, I think, has arranged every piece of music to come out since medieval times. She's just one, and they're all very doable, and she does a great job. So remember, if there is that piece you really want to play, don't open the Salzedo, like Silent Night, and find an arrangement that works for you. All right, I am going to be quiet now so Janet can play.
Very, very good. Very, very good, MJ. Yes. So my website has a variety of music, and actually for the Pavane for Dead Princess, I also have a Celtic harp version. So people have been enjoying. That's one of my best selling. I have myself playing in my garden on a warm summer day. So people really enjoy that one. But this is a full-blown arrangement, which of course I won't do it all. But to get started, I would like to present the Hittite Suite by Jati Akyol. He's a contemporary composer from Turkey, and he was inspired to write this piece after an ancient vase dated 3,700 years ago was discovered in an ancient place called Anatolia, which is part of Turkey. It's where Asia meets Europe, and it depicted men playing an ancient harp. It's called a suite, and I wondered why a one movement was called a suite. He calls it that because it's based on different folk tunes throughout his one piece. It's probably about 5 or 6 minutes long. It's fast because it's a dance. It's a joyful dance, and it's a new piece for me. So wish me luck. Here we go. Hittite Suite. theme that goes into it, and then the other themes are repeated. So it's repetitive, but it's very, very joyful and has a delightful ending to it. Okay, so my next piece is another new piece for me, and it's one piece that I didn't know about till I found it on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, I wish I had learned this piece when I was young. It's the Follet by Hasselmann. And of course, Hasselmann is our French harpist that's written wonderful tunes. La Source is one of his greatest hits for harps. And his Follet is a piece, it means fool's fire, the translation is, and it refers to the mysterious ghost lights seen by travelers by night in bogs, marshes, and swamps of Europe. Of course, in reality, they're just flame-like particles illuminating due to decaying matter. But let your imagination run wild with the ghostly images, the ghostly lights. It's also referred to as a will-o'-the-wisp, which is a great alliteration of an interesting concept. Many composers have written will-o'-the-wisps, and the most amazing one is by Franz Liszt for a piano solo. If you want to hear someone play that, they're amazing. That is an incredible, incredible feat to pull that off. So the will-o'-the-wisp is very, spinning lights, and your fingers are moving very, very quickly, and it sort of tickles the ears. And again, these are music that I've chosen for a fall concert. And to me, this is very fall-like. So, wish me luck, and I will do a portion of Follet by Hasselmann. So there's your will-o'-the-wisp. That's just a portion of it. Did it tickle your ears? It's really fun to play. I hope you can enjoy that in your repertoire sometime as well. So staying in the genre of strange pieces that might be for Halloween or for fall, I decided to do some music by the French composer Eric Satie. And Eric was a very esoteric, face it, weird guy. He is known to have 12 velvet corduroy suits in his closet, and he's been dubbed the Velvet Gentleman. He ate only white food. It's a wonder he didn't get scurvy. And he actually composed a piece that was to be repeated 840 times. I doubt it was ever performed. So the two pieces, I'm going to segue one from the other. This is another way of organizing your program, so there's no break in between. The first one is his Gnossian number 1, and he wrote 6 of these. And he was inspired by the Greek stories of the past and characters and mythological figures. In this particular Gnosia #1, it's I think the most familiar to people. It was inspired by an ancient Greek labyrinth dance. And when I play this piece, I think of the movie Pulp Fiction. It's kind of a dark movie, but there's a moment when John Travolta is dancing, and the dancing is very quirky, and strange. And I think this piece is quirky and strange as well. So Gnosion #1. And then I won't play the whole thing, but then I'm going to move into the Gymnopédie #1. And harpists play that one a lot. It's just a great piece. In fact, Eric Satie was considered this piece a furniture music. He actually said it's designed not to be heard. Composer saying that. He paved the way for ambiance music or muzak music in the future. So if music not to be really, really broken apart and listened to, but just sit back and use it as background music. It's a play on words. Gymnopédie is a very odd name, and gymno means sports. So you think, okay, this piece, Gymnopédie #1, should be very energetic and full of activity. And it's for him, he's sarcastic, and it's just the opposite. It's slow, it's serene, it's just what you wouldn't think it would be. So I used to play this a lot, and I kind of got a little bored with it, frankly, but people like it. So I wrote my own variation on it. I hope that he would approve. So I'm going to go from the Gnossian to the Gymnopédie. I will start with his version and then sort of take an excerpt or cut into my own and end with my own. So here we go, the strange dance, Gnosia #1. And I'm going to stop there because I have a very out of tune note. And it's really throwing me. So thank you for letting me do that. Okay. Gymnopédie. And then I'm just going to let it decay. Thank you. Thank you. My harp is getting a little out of tune, so I'll see what I can do. But I'm going to move along.
I hope everybody's noticing that even if you do a program, if you hear something, it's better to just fix it than to just keep going with something badly out of tune. People become very interested in that when you're doing your program. So don't suffer those notes if it's something really, really bad. I just realized I was talking, they might not have been able to hear me, but I said tune on. But your descriptions a little quicker. Okay, that's me. Go.
Okay, so now we're going on to the pavane for a dead princess. And it's really not meant to be a morbid piece. It's actually meant to be a dance for a young maiden of long ago. He chose that title because he liked it the way it rolled off his tongue in French. So it's not a sad piece at all. It's actually a graceful dance. Also, Maurice Ravel was influenced by the works of Satie. So he pushed the limits of harmony and jazz, a little bit of jazz from Eric Satie. So here we go. And then it goes back into the theme and then into a new theme. But what isn't that a beautiful melody? And the horns get to play it, and we don't. And cellists get to play it, and we don't. So be sure to get that out and get that into your repertoire. So I'm going to save Moon Dance for last. That's next in our program, but I'll talk about that later. And these are two new pieces I just arranged. They're fresh off my pencil. I write everything in pencil. It's very laborious and takes me a long time to get these things done, but I love these two pieces. The Love Song from the Sunflower. It's a 1970 movie. It's a romantic war movie, and the music is by Henry Mancini, one of the best writers of contemporary beautiful melodies and gorgeous harmonies. So I fell in love with this piece, and I hope you will too. This is a short version of it. And then I'll move into my last piece on the program, which is called Autumn Leaves with Golden Sleeves. And I'll let you figure out what two pieces are blended with this. I got the inspiration from a YouTube video of a composer named Joy Arco, who is doing tons of variations on green sleeves. I just told you what it was. But what she did with this blend of two pieces was so charming, and I hope you'll enjoy it.
Wow, that was beautiful. And
So that's my program.
you said that was right
And
off your fingers. And so I guess that's why it's not on your website yet, but those last two songs were gorgeous
correct.
and we
Yes.
can't wait till you get them up there because I was going to
Thank
buy it while you were
you.
playing. Really, really beautiful. We don't
Thank you
see
so
any
much.
questions in
I
the
just want to
chat.
remind, I just want to remind everybody too. I mean, what a wonderful program. I love the finale as well. But if you are anywhere near Wilmington, Delaware, next Thursday, October 24th, you can go. We have a link here, but you can go on Market Street Music DE, as in Delaware, .org for details. And I also notice it's a free concert, so they're really lucky to have you there, Janet, for sure, for sure. And I have to tell you, the reason Janet didn't play a moon dance is because I requested that she save it to the very end. I love it. I've always loved it. I'm amazed whenever she plays it. So she's going to take us out with Moon Dance. But before she does, just a couple little things I want to remind everybody. We talked about this very briefly the last hang, but the Virginia Harp Center Festival is happening again this year in Arlington, Virginia, March 14th to the 16th. And our very own Robin Gordon Cartier will be one of the teachers, and we have Emily Levine, and we have Charles Overton, and we have Emmanuel. I always say his last name wrong, but I just love him. Can you say his last name, Robin?
Cordero? Is it
De,
Cordero?
de, de,
Oh,
de,
see, I called the wrong one. Mm.
and we're going to do something very exciting. We're going to have a live hang there. We're still working it out, but Friday afternoon we're going to have a live hang at the festival. So that'll be a lot of fun. But that's enough about that. Jen is going to take us out. She's going to talk a little bit about just one of my favorite pieces that she's ever played. I'd never get tired of her playing this. You may have seen the video of her. Once again, you can tell what kind of personality, that what a wonderful, fun person she is when you see the video of her in the field, the pumpkin field with the witch's hat. If you haven't seen that, there is a link on the Constant Constant. You have to
Pull
check it
it
out.
up, pull it up. My favorite part about that video is I'm gonna say it's your husband. It might not be, but whoever is videotaping it, when they're walking across the field, the crunching of the hay is just the best. It fits right in. We want to thank you, Janet, and we want to thank all the people we see here on the hang. I'm looking at Daron, I'm looking at Kathy, I'm looking at Anna, all the people from far away, and of course, all of our regulars who are so faithful. Please get out there, start planning your concerts. Her PDF is wonderful, but remember, you now have to put your own touches on it also. And we look to see you next month. There you go, Janet.
Thank you. Thank you for having me hanging on the heart, Robin and Jay, and all those that are listening. And I want to give a shout out to those our southern friends who are dealing with a lot of hardship with the hurricanes and the terrible floods. So our best wishes with you for that. We are thinking about you a lot and hoping that your hearts are safe, warm, and dry. Yes, the Moon Dance, one of my greatest hits on YouTube. It was taken on my mother's father's farm, a big pumpkin patch. So the crunching is actually stems of pumpkins that my husband's crunching on. We were getting ready to do a hay ride, so I was anxious to try this, and it seemed to work very well. So this is for you, MJ. This is for being my housemate in Camden, Maine. We had some fun. We worked hard there too. And thank you again, and I will see you sometime soon. Bye bye.